With the recent purchase of ZeniMax Media by Microsoft, many are now wondering what the fate of the future Bethesda games will be. Phil Spencer, who is at the helm of the Xbox brand, has said time and time again he's not one for dividing players, and isn't too keen on making console-exclusive games. That being said, when asked about the future of Bethesda games, he said he'll still honor the PS5 exclusives, but moving forward, the games will be looked at on a case-by-case basis. What that means is to be determined, but to no surprise, plenty of people are thinking that moving forward, Bethesda titles will only be available to play on Xbox or PC. Potentially an Android phone as well with Project xCloud, but that's for another video. Either way, today on Top 10 Gaming, we're counting down the top 10 Xbox Series X exclusives. How's it going, guys? I'm your guest host for this one, Jared Bronstein, stepping in for a video to help the team out while we continue producing the best gaming content out there. Before we get into it, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Top 10 Central Vibe. It's going to be a fun channel, so come check it out.
Just like bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, and that was for sure poo. This is gonna be Top 10 Central Vibe. Hope you guys like it. It's gonna be starring me all the time. We're in the Illuminati.
Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this list, but for now, let's get right into it. Starting things off for us at number 10, we got Elder Scrolls 6. Of course, this game is going to be on here because Microsoft owns it. As previously mentioned, it seems Xbox boss Phil Spencer isn't too keen on the idea of exclusives, but he's still going to honor Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo as PS5 exclusives because that deal was made prior to the accusation. And sometimes, as much as you may not want to, well, you gotta fight fire with fire. It seems making Elder Scrolls 6 a console exclusive would be doing exactly that. Of course, the game could also be available to play on the PC, as all the games on this list, if not most, likely will be. Still, given that Elder Scrolls was announced back at the 2018 E3, and more than 2 years later not much is known about it, leads me to believe it's likely going to be another few years before anything is official. Director at Bethesda, Todd Howard, recently said the game is still a long way off, but whenever it does drop, it will be available on Xbox Game Pass, so that's definitely a huge win. Up next at number 9, Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, I think it's pretty evident this is likely going to be an Xbox exclusive, given that Microsoft is in the name. I mean, it's a funny thought to see people playing Microsoft's Flight Simulator on Sony's PS5, but odds are it's never going to happen. Still, Flight Simulator has been a huge hit with those who played it on PC, and it's expected to come to the Xbox in the near future. There isn't an exact release date, but it seems many people have been asking for the game to be available on Game Pass for their consoles. The game itself uses Bing Maps to create a 3D model of the world, giving gamers an experience like no other as they literally fly around in a plane. Now, this is definitely one of the games I think would be peak using VR, which, as we know, has been a big play for PlayStation consoles and not so much for Xbox. This could, however, be one of the games that gives Microsoft a reason to push VR and potentially make them compatible with Xbox consoles, PCs, and Android phones, given that they will all be able to run Project xCloud. Bringing us into number 8, Fallout New Vegas 2. Microsoft already owns Obsidian, and now with their most recent purchase of Bethesda, who owns the licensing rights to the Fallout franchise, well, there have been talks of a sequel to what some call one of the best games in a genre. Fallout 4 was well received, however, it seems many fans were just as upset that the storyline aspect was lost, and although it was fun to play, many were hoping for a more choice-driven game where each decision actually mattered a lot. Depending on what attributes or character you played, you'd be given options of how the game played out. It seems of all the new Fallout games, New Vegas was definitely the biggest hit and the fan favorite. And now that Microsoft owns both Bethesda, who has the game's rights, and Obsidian, who developed the game in the first place, it's quite possible over a decade later we finally get a sequel. And to add some fuel to the fire, when someone tweeted the official Obsidian Twitter page asking if Fallout New Vegas 2 is now a possibility, they responded with like a little emoji. I guess it wasn't really like an emoji, it was like a keyboard written emoji, which I would consider an emoji. But you guys get what I'm saying. Good things may be coming, we just gotta wait and see. On to number 7, The Outer Worlds 2. We got another Obsidian title here, and it seems Outer Worlds picked up where Fallout left off, with fans of the game drawing similar comparisons to the two. The original won the 2019 Games Critic Award for Best Original Game, and the reviews were very positive. The role-playing game was released in October of 2019 and available across all consoles, including the Nintendo Switch. There were a few issues fans had regarding the main character's voice acting and even animation of the characters, but that could have been due to budgeting issues. Given the success of the first game and the significant budget increase Microsoft could give to Obsidian, it's safe to say if a sequel to this game were to come out, which hopefully they'll announce soon, it's very possible and likely the game is an Xbox exclusive game. Regardless of what Phil Spencer says about not wanting exclusives, it's quite evident going up against the likes of Spider-Man Miles Morales and Final Fantasy XVI, they're going to need a play, and The Outer Worlds 2 would certainly be a part of that play. Bringing us into 6, Quake. I'm not talking about a spin-off or a follow-up to the other games that have come out, but a remaster of the original 1996 game. The latest Quake game to be released was Quake Champions back in 2017, scene, and to this day people are still talking about it. Although it's possible Xbox decides to push a similar style game as Quake Champions, considering how the game was only available on PC, it's also quite possible they reprise or remaster an old classic simply because they know gamers are all about the classics. Given how far we've advanced technologically and the sheer power the new consoles would be capable of, it would be quite amazing to see what the studio execs would be able to come up with if they were able to create a game that's almost 25 years old. Nothing is set in stone just yet, but never say never. I got a strong feeling this one's happening soon. Halfway now at number 5, Banjo-Kazooie. For me personally, this was a game I grew up playing, so if they were to come out with another console exclusive, well, I may just have to drop a stack on the console and game. I'm from Canada, so everything here costs a little bit more, plus we get taxed more, meaning like a new Series X and a game could cost me close to probably $850. That sucks. What doesn't suck is the thought of another game. Since 2008, Xbox Game Studios have been publishing the game, which is why it hasn't been available on PlayStation consoles. The most recent game was Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which also dropped in 2008, wasn't liked nearly as much as the original and sequel in Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and this could also be a sign of things to come. The two originals were re-released in 2008 and 2009 for Xbox Live Arcade, and featured fully HD graphics. They also included revised controls, and to this day are still available to play on Xbox Game Pass, which genuinely leads me to believe that it's possible they come out with a remastered Nuts and Bolts game, or potentially a 4th installment to the franchise. I mean, they have all the tools they need, so just, why not do it? Talking to you, Phil. Come on, why not? Bringing us on to number 4, Mortal Kombat. Now this one is a bit of a stretch, as Warner Brothers Studios are the parent company to NetherRealm, who develops the game. Talks of MK12 haven't even really started, and although there is a potential April 2023 release date, there is no telling for sure when the game will drop. Still, at one point Microsoft was in talks to potentially buy out the gaming division of Warner Brothers, which is Interactive Entertainment. Aside from potentially making MK12 an exclusive title if they were to pull off the purchase, this would also likely mean that the new Harry Potter game could also become a console exclusive. Of course, as we know, the accusation didn't happen, and Microsoft ended up buying out ZeniMax Media instead. But it seems they have their sights set on continuing to expand, and even though the first deal with WB didn't work out, it's possible that Microsoft makes another play to absorb their gaming division into the Microsoft family, inevitably leading to Xbox getting some hot exclusive titles. At number 3 we got Starfield. What was originally expected to be a PS5 and Xbox Series X/S game may now only be coming to the Xbox after Microsoft's purchase of ZeniMax. Of course, PC is included in that as well, but the game, which was also revealed at E3 2018, hasn't released any more information, and not much has been spoken about it since. With the recent accusation, obviously there have been rumors that the game will be an exclusive, but nothing is set in stone just yet. That being said, tech writer and editor for Windows Central, Jez Corden, who has been right in the past about all things Microsoft, confirmed that the game will only be coming to Xbox and PC, replying to a tweet saying it will be an exclusive. He followed up with, I quote, PC2 obviously, but literally no idea why people think this will come to PS5. Now this doesn't mean 100% that the game will in fact be a console exclusive, but given Corden's track record, odds are he's right on the money with this one as well. I'd say expect a 2021 release date. At number 2, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's been announced for all consoles, but much like Mortal Kombat, it's definitely possible Microsoft strikes a deal to either make this game a console exclusive, or at the very least include DLCs that will be exclusive to Xbox gamers. Similarly to how the Avengers game is going to have a Spider-Man DLC for PlayStation only, it's quite possible Microsoft is able to work out a deal that, if the game itself isn't an exclusive, certain playable characters will be. Think of it like Sony vs Microsoft and Marvel vs DC joined to create Sony Marvel and Microsoft DC. It's going to be a game of back and forth, and it seems quite evident where everyone's allegiance lies. Not saying for sure this is gonna happen, but it's a potential. I think it might. So if you want to play as like Batman, no, that's too much of a mainstream character. There's gonna be a character that I feel that Xbox is gonna get that exclusive DLC. Where my Team Xbox boys at? Bringing us to number 1, Minecraft. It's the obvious choice, as this game is owned by Microsoft, and although it's available to play across all consoles and PC, at any point Microsoft can just shut that down. They can literally just no more. Now, given that Microsoft is one of the biggest, if not the biggest game in the world currently, I'm not so sure that they would necessarily want to do that. But it's possible they decided to pull the plug on Minecraft being a cross-console game and make it exclusive for PC and the new generation Xbox consoles moving forward. Microsoft has already come out with versions of the games which offer more and perform better on their consoles as well as PC, especially in comparison to the PlayStation. An example of this would be the Bedrock Edition, which enables cross-console play and is available for everything but the PlayStation. That may be a sign of what's to come, or at the very least, evidence that Microsoft is willing to find ways to ensure even if their console doesn't have exclusive games, they'll have exclusive features. Much like what I was saying about that Suicide Squad game. Maybe I'm onto something. And there you guys have it for the top 10 potential Xbox Series X exclusives. Let me know your thoughts on this list down below, and of course, which one you're the most excited for. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein, stepping in for a video on top 10 gaming, and we'll see you guys in the next video. With the recent purchase of ZeniMax Media by Microsoft, many are wondering what the fate of the future fuck me, I'm gonna hit that again. Either way, today on Top 10 Gaming, we're counting down the top 10 potential Xbox Series X. There's just so many X's in there, man. There's just so fucking many. Either way, today on Top 10 Gaming, we're counting down the top 10 potential Xbox Series X exclusives. I can't say it, dude.
Yes, this should go that fast.
It's Xbox Series X exclusives. Like, what the f? It's like saying the same word 3 times. But that could have been due to budgeting issues. Because it sounds like I'm saying budgeting. It sounds like I'm saying budging. But that could have been due to budgeting issues. That sound better? I don't know why it's so funny. I'm like a fucking 7-year-old. Okay, let me be an adult. Let me just put on my big boy pants for a second.